right? Extracurriculars. So they're important, but that doesn't mean you should stack up your extracurriculars and thinking that you would impress the admissions officers. The rule is you should have a few that show longevity as opposed to, think of it this way. It should be quality over quantity. So what do I mean by quality? If you started in 9th grade with few or a couple of extracurricular activities and you continue them into 12th grade, that's better than you starting a few extracurricular activities in 9th grade, you drop it and you start another few, and then you drop that and start another few. They meaning college admissions officers, they want to see that you've been committed. That's the key word. You've been committed throughout your high school career with extracurriculars. If you work and if you've taken less extracurriculars because you've been working, that doesn't count against you. In fact, that's you have to express how you've been working and throughout the high school career and maybe expand on that. So that working does not count against you especially if you have to work. Okay. So where are we now? Extracurriculars, we talked about that. So two or three strong extracurriculars, and let it be something that you're very much interested in. Okay. Don't do it as something you just totally despise or you don't find any interest at all. Let it be something that let it be an extracurricular that you're very much interested in. Okay. And I'll talk about this a little bit more. What is very outstanding is if you have been a leader in these extracurricular activities. You are the president or the vice president, or you started a club because it's not currently at your high school and you felt the need for it. So you created it. Those are some things that you want to think about doing. So you don't want to stay in the background. You want to be a leader in whatever you do. Okay, let's see. Essays. So essays are the most important personal component of the application. So you have to make sure you have reviewed it once, twice, 3 times. You have other people review it. You don't want to get caught up in grammar mistakes, shallow or general responses, or just low quality writing that can really hurt your application. Okay, so you want to craft out well thought out responses that will make you unique and stand out. Okay, that's the whole point. You want to make yourself unique. You want to stand out. You want to discuss maybe a scenario or how an experience impacted you. The students and you may be you can also, let me go back, students who came out in 2021, maybe even in 22, could have talked about how the pandemic impacted them and how they overcame or what happened. You know, the whole thing is how the pandemic impacted you and how you overcame that. Okay, so miscellaneous factors are pretty much letters and recommendations and interviews that should be polished. So sometimes schools invite you for an interview. And so you want to take that interview very seriously. You want to come professional. Interviews are mainly schools that just want to get a better idea of who you are as a student. Let's go back to recommendations. Recommendations should come from your teachers in your junior year, and they should come from the teachers who taught your core classes, math, science, social studies, and it should not come from the teacher that you like the most. But it should come from, if we were to say 2 teachers, a class that you did very well in, or you struggled, but you overcame. So the teacher can talk about how you overcame a class, okay? So again, it should come from your core classes. It should come from your 11th grade teachers, and it should come from a class that you did very well in. Not the teacher that you like the most, but a class you did very well and that you made an impact and possibly helped somebody or you did whatever, and a class that possibly you might have done not so good in, but in the end, you overcame, and they can definitely speak about that. Okay, those are the recommendations you should discuss. All right, if you have not such a great interview with the admission office or your letter of recommendation, if you have it someone, your gym teacher, that might not make as good of an impression as it came from a core teacher. You usually get a third one or so from your guidance counselor who gives your story an overall context of your high school career. So you may need a guidance counselor just to give an overall context. And I'll give case in point. Let me give you an example. Let's say you lost a parent. I hope that doesn't happen during your high school career, but you lost a parent and maybe you didn't do so well during one of the years in high school. And while your teachers can write about your academics, your guidance counselor can write overall. Oh, and during that time, you might not have done so well, but then you improved your high school record in the latter years. Your guidance counselor can give your recommendation can have an overall context of your high school career. So that's what I'm trying to say. All right, we are moving on. We are closing in. We're coming in for the landing. So luck. So at the end of the day, it often comes down to luck. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but there's an element of randomness where you could have everything right and still not get accepted if your admissions officer is having a bad day, unfortunately, or misses a critical part of your application or something else that happens that gets your application turned down by chance. And this is a reality many families have to accept when it comes to receiving decisions.